I'm Chris Mundy. I'm a TV writer and showrunner. My high school journalism teacher was a guy named John Hudnall, and who was kind of the first person who ever treated me like an adult in some way, or at least that if he gave me responsibility, I would take it and I would sort of rise to it. So he both taught the journalism class, but also ran the school paper, which I was one of the editors on. And I'd sit in his office even after class was over just to be like talking about writing and talking about journalism. And if it bled into another class, he'd write me a note to go to the other class a little bit late because he knew that sort of having like a grown-up conversation about those things was more important than the 5 minutes of math that I was gonna miss. And eventually, when I went off to school, and my first job out of college was at Rolling Stone magazine, and I was there for 11, 12 years, and I'd learned more from Hudnall than I ever learned as an intro to the magazine, just about the way journalism should work, can work. It was all baked in from the time I was like 15 years old, and that's all because of him. Right around the time that I left West Side High School, where I went, he left to teach at the University of Kansas. And then about 10 years ago or so, I'd never gotten to see a basketball game at Allen Fieldhouse, and I'd always wanted to. And I flew to Kansas City, met up with my dad, and we drove down and stayed with Hudnall in his house, and he took us to a KU game, and it was absolutely perfect. So, and he's just still exactly the same. He's like smart and funny and cares way too much about journalism, which means actually cares just enough. So he's amazing.